The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
ESPN Jets insider Rich Cimini revealed 3 under-the-radar targets for the Jets. Which 3 sleepers could the Jets target? We'll break that down with our draft guru, Dom C. of JetX will join me. It's the Jake Asman Show, live on a Football Friday. Let's hit it and get it started.
Wish you could have been a Jet, Fernando.
Let's see what happens.
What's your message to the Jet fans in New York?
Jets, Jets.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show, presented by PrizePicks. Make sure you like the video before we get started. And if you're new around here, you hit the subscribe button and help us on our quest to 45,000 subscribers. Just 13 days, 9 hours, 31 minutes, and 45 seconds from right now is the NFL Draft. So it is finally upon us, and we have a bunch of interesting storylines to discuss with our guest this morning on the show. One of my favorites. He covers the NFL Draft for Jets X Factor and JetsXFactor.com. It's our guy, Dom C. Dom, it's almost draft season, baby, or almost the end, I should say, of draft season. Almost finally time for the draft. How we feeling, man? You've been studying these guys for, a year at this point.
You know what, Jake? It's funny, too, because I usually get a little bit of a later start than some of the folks who do what I do. I'm starting in July and August, just very, very kind of easing my way into it. It feels like this draft cycle, because the Jets season was so awful, seemed so long. And it also seems that there's so many more people interested and involved in this draft cycle because the Jets were so awful. So, I mean, how many, in past years, not many people would have watched every single game that every single one of these college quarterbacks played, whether it's Ty Simpson or Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore, or whomever. Like the casual fan, and I say that very loosely, not in a disrespectful manner, but the average fan usually isn't tied into the college game all that much, except for the Jets fans this year, where the Jets sucked. Call it what it is. They were absolutely horrible, pathetic showing this past season. So hopefully this gets better.
I'd imagine it can only go up from here, but we've said that before, and we know how that goes. But look, they do have the 4 picks in the top 44, including 2 on night 1 at 2 and 16. So there is, of course, some excitement for that. Speaking of that, I want to remind people that if you haven't RSVP'd to our draft party in Pittsburgh at McFadden's, make sure that you do so. It's going to be a great, great day in tonight. We'll be partying all day long. The doors open at noon. It's located adjacent to where the NFL Draft is. So spend the day in Pittsburgh. Spend the weekend in Pittsburgh, Jet fans. If you're making the trip, we'll be at McFadden's all day on Thursday. Live show during the day. Live show at night after the Jets make their picks. It's going to be an absolute blast. So RSVP with the link in the description. So last night on the 3rd episode of the Jets Collective, a show that I host with ESPN's Rich Cimini and longtime radio personality Brandon Tierney, Rich Cimini gave us some interesting nuggets, 3 players that he has heard from his sources that the Jets are potentially interested in drafting. I'm going to play the clip, and then, Dom, I want you to break down each of these guys and whether or not you think they'd be a good fit for the New York Jets. We need the sleepers. That's gonna go everywhere. The Cimini sleepers for the New York Jets.
It's a new segment. I like it.
Malachi Lawrence from Central Florida, edge rusher. Someone gave me a little tip on him, 6'4", 260. The kid from Illinois, edge rusher Gabe Jacas, another sleeper who might be like a 2nd or 3rd rounder. And the cornerback, who I find very interesting. And I do think the Jets will draft a cornerback. I don't know. I doubt in the 1st round, but Chris Johnson from San Diego State is a really, really good player who might be like a high 2 or somewhere in the second round, who's a good player. San Diego State, I'm not saying it's a factor, but that's also where Darren Muji went to school. So you never know about that. But those are my 3 sleepers to keep an eye on for the Jets.
3 sleepers to keep an eye on for the New York Jets. That, of course, courtesy of ESPN's Rich Cimini on the Jets Collective. So here are the 3 again on the screen. Pass rusher out of UCF, Malachi Lawrence. Gabe Jacas from Illinois, another pass rusher. And then San Diego State corner, Chris Johnson. Dom, let's go in order here. We'll start with Malachi Lawrence. Your thoughts on him as a prospect and whether or not he's a good fit for the Jets?
Yes and yes. Malachi Lawrence is a guy that shouldn't really take people by storm. I just think he was a guy that, like, when the draft cycle really started in December and January, that people weren't as familiar with as the names like obviously Bain and Bailey and Messidor and TJ Parker. But, quietly, Malachi Lawrence had a really, really effective season this past year. He's big. To me, I think of all the guys that we're going to talk about here, between Lawrence, Jacas, and Chris Johnson, Lawrence is the best fit for the Jets. True, stand-up outside linebacker type. He's got the size at 6'4" and change, at 250 pounds and change, 33.5-inch arms, still relatively young, a true senior. Definitely more of a, this is probably gonna, not go over well with the chat, but I'd say he's much more of a David Bailey-esque type edge rusher, meaning where it's pass rush forward and the rest of the game still needs a little bit of development. I'm not saying that he's not a good run defender. I just think that he's probably going to step into an NFL team and really affect the game by getting at the passer a little bit. He's a lot stronger than I expected on film. He's got really, really good lower body strength. He knows how to, drive and carry, using his legs and his hips. He fires all flow. He keeps his pad level low. He's done work with his hand in the dirt and standing up, but I think that he is a guy that's probably going to be your more, typical 3-4 base outside linebacker. Reminds me a lot of the two younger guys in Pittsburgh, Herbig and Highsmith. I don't know if he's as fast or twitchy as Highsmith, and I don't know if he's as kind of stout as Herbig. So he's probably a good combination of both of those. He has a really, really good pass rush bag. He can flatten the corner. He knows how to run the hoop. He does all that stuff. He can get home. Good hand work, good hand fighter. Still has to work on some stuff like he's kind of more of a leaves his feet a little bit too much when he's tackling. His collegiate career, this number is going to be obscene, but take it for what it's worth, because early in his career he didn't play a lot, and he's got almost a 30% tackle missed tackle rate throughout his career. So too many negative plays. That's the stuff that needs to be cleaned up. He's kind of a dive tackler as opposed of a drive tackler, but he's a guy that you want on, second and long, third and long, to just peel his ears back and get at the passer. Malachi Lawrence is that guy. There's a lot of development that still needs to be done in terms of how he sets an edge, but listen, in this draft class, Jake, you're going to get a lot of that stuff. There's no true, absolutely super clean prospects, right? There's going to be warts on a lot of these guys. So I think, if you get Malachi Lawrence in the right system where he can be coached up, and I think the Jets' new defensive coaching staff is gonna be really effective in that. And you work on cleaning up some of those negative plays, work on making him be more of a rap tackler and hold his ground and split double teams and not get washed out in the run game, like so he can disengage and not get washed out, you're going to have a guy that plays very well. Probably more of a 2-down player early in his career, which will probably push him into the late, into that late second round pick value. I have a pure second round grade on him. I think he can come in and I think your upside is you're looking at a double digit to 12 to 13, 14 sack guy throughout his career, and with the hopes that he becomes a much more effective and solid edge setter and run defender so that he can play 3 downs.
I like that breakdown. If they double up on receiver, we've had a lot of conversations on that, but how about doubling up potentially on edge if they take either Bailey or Reese at 2? And believe me, we'll get into that with Dom because I want his thoughts on the latest back and forth in the saga between Bailey and Reese, with the betting odds officially changing yesterday there. But the other 2 names that Rich mentioned, let's get to another pass rusher now. Illinois pass rusher, Gabe, is it Jacas or Jacas? How do we actually pronounce his name?
Yes. Jacas, exactly. The J is silent.
So Gabe Jacas, Dom, what do we need to know about him? Where is he projected to go, and how does he fit the Jets?
Oh man, he's probably in that same realm, like mid round 2 to mid round 3. He was a guy, full disclosure, Jake, that I didn't have a lot of exposure on before the Senior Bowl. But man, this guy is good. He's big. He's big. He pushes 275 pounds at 6'3". He, for what it's worth, he's really, really jacked up, yoked up. I mean, he's a solid. He's like, looks like he's, carved out of granite, this guy. Jacked. Don't think there's a pound or an ounce of fat on this guy. He is pure muscle. Freaks list guy, due to his strength and power, like a Bruce Feldman's freak list, preseason freaks list. Just your prototypical violent power rusher. Wrestling background, which I think really, really holds well for these college football players or football players in general, because, with a wrestling background, you understand leverage. You understand how to use your hips appropriately, so on and so forth. Get your hips under him. Drive, use your lower half to drive. He is way better of an athlete than I expected, at 6'4", 279 pounds, 6'3", 279 pounds. He's got a ridiculously good, long arm, where he can just, he gets into the chest of the tackles and just, drive them straight back. His hands are like bricks. They're violent. He stops offensive linemen in his tracks. To me, I think he's the opposite of what Malachi Lawrence is, right? I think that you're coming into the season, a rookie year with Gabe Jacas, as that you're going to get really, really effective edge setting defense from him. That you're going to get some decent pass rush abilities, but he's not fully developed or composed as a pass rusher right now. Like it's pure bull in a china shop kind of stuff, which is effective at the college level. I don't know if that, that bull in a china shop, bull rush, through the chest of offensive linemen or with a long arm will always work in the NFL. But he's got the length to keep offensive linemen off his chest. He's got the power profile that projects, at a super, super high elite level right now. And he's got a motor that just doesn't stop. He reminds me of a much, he reminds me like of a bigger, stronger Aiden Hutchinson. Like if you think about Aiden Hutchinson and that power profile that he plays with, I think Aiden Hutchinson's a lot more, tuned in and a lot more detailed in his pass rush bag. Whereas Jacas will just want to go through, man. He says, he plays a lot of see ball, get ball kind of stuff, but you use him in the games up front as a stunter and a twister, and he can, occupy some guys. So the defensive tackles can twist around him or vice versa. I think that's where he'll be really effective. He's an interesting one for the Jets in a fit, because I think for him, he's truly going to be a guy with his hand in the dirt. He's going to be an even man front kind of defensive end. I'm not saying that he's can't play standing up. And again, I'm not saying that the Jets will continuously or always have their edge rusher standing, in 2-point stance. But I think he's going to be kind of a guy that fits more of a Robert Saleh strong side end kind of defense. If you think of what Jermaine Johnson's role was in the solid defense, I think that's kind of what Jacas is going to do. He needs to still develop more of his pass rush bag and learn how to string together his pass rush moves. And if the first one gets stopped and go to a counter, like I said, there's not a lot of strategy in his game. He's just been stronger. He's a lot more physical, and he's a lot stronger than most of the collegiate athletes that he played against at Illinois. So, you got that. The question I would raise with Jacas is, can he be more than just I think he's probably a 2.5 down guy on the early side. Malachi Lawrence is a 2.5 down guy on the later side. If you could combine those two guys, you would have you'd have Myles Garrett. It'd be wonderful. But I think Gabe Jacas is probably a tick lower for me. I think he's in the 50s. I think he's my 52nd player overall. Malachi Lawrence is in the 40s. They're both really, really good edge rushers. I love that the Jets are talking about both of these guys. If what Cimini says, holds any depth and weight, I think they're two guys that I would love to have on my team. Completely polar opposites in terms of what they'll bring to a team and their skill set. So it's interesting.
We're talking with Dom C, draft analyst over at JetX, one of the best guys you could talk to this time of year. As I like to joke often, it's Dom CC's in 13 days till the NFL draft. Jets, of course, on the clock. Night 1 with pick number 2 and pick 16. In honor of the fact that we're trying to manifest some great Jets draft picks, today's raffle prize across our 2 shows is a signed Chad Pennington helmet, baby. The first Jets jersey that I ever owned. Pennington signed helmets, the prize. Gift a membership or send in a super chat, $10 or more to qualify. When you do that, you'll be entered in our weekly raffle tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'm going live for a Saturday show. Joe Namath signed helmet, Darrelle Revis signed helmet, Braylon Allen signed jersey, and an Anthony Becht signed jersey are the raffle prizes. So those are the prizes for tomorrow. And then today, someone's going to win a signed Chad Pennington helmet. All right, Dom, one more sleeper that Cimini mentioned that I want to get your thoughts on, and that is San Diego State corner Chris Johnson. And Cimini did note that Chris Johnson played at San Diego State, and that is where Darren Muji went to college. So you'd think if anyone's going to have some sort of feel and insider information on the type of player Chris Johnson is, it'd be the GM of the Jets. I say that knowing full well Mike Tannenbaum went to UMass and decided to draft Vlad Ducasse and did not invite Victor Cruz to Jets training camp. So I digress and don't want to go down that path. But anyway, Chris Johnson, break him down. What should Jets fans expect if they end up taking him?
Chris Johnson is, of the 3, he's definitely my favorite prospect. Probably my least favorite for the Jets, though, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. He's my highest ranked one out of those 3. He's a top 25 player for me on my board overall, my 3rd cornerback in the class. I have a fringe 2nd round grade, like literally fractions of points from him being a 1st round grade for me. He is, he's got tons of starts under his belt. A 4-year player, 3-year starter at San Diego State. Super fluid athlete. I love a little bit of a slight frame at 6 foot. Probably about 180 pounds. He definitely needs to add a little bit more functional mass to be effective at the next level. He epitomizes when you talk about defensive backs and cornerbacks that have zone eyes, like he's that guy. He is the guy that, like, again, I hate to keep referencing Robert Saleh, but I think, we are so accustomed to what a Robert Saleh defender and a defense it really looks like. And Chris Johnson, for me, is the epitome of that guy. He does his best work in off man. He's going to be a cover 4, cover 3 type player, that has those own eyes, understands what he's looking at, can click and close and make plays on the ball. He's super. He kind of understands route concepts and jumps them and breaks them. At 6 foot, 182 pounds, like I told you, 180 pounds, he is an animal. He's a freaking dog, Jake. Fits the run as good as any cornerback other than Colton Hood in this entire draft class. 4.8% missed tackle rate throughout his career. So, he's I mean, San Diego State is what it is. It's not Alabama. It's not Michigan, but they used him at that role, in that jack backer kind of role a lot of the time, where he's kind of sort of a nickelback, kind of sort of a safety, kind of sort of a linebacker. A lot of the role that, the Jets are going to use, Minka Fitzpatrick in, and some of the role that they may use Arvell Reese if they draft Arvell Reese. Chris Johnson did that at 6 foot, 180 pounds. That's how good he is fitting the run. He's got a ton of special teams experience, a little bit as a returner, but he makes his noise knocking people on their ass. Excuse my language. Like, he's a gunner. Super technical. Does his best work, like I told you, in zone, which is why I question the fit for the Jets. Cimini bringing this name up was the one head scratcher for me, because, I don't think that there's going to be many teams that run more man coverage, and especially press man coverage. And that's just where Chris Johnson doesn't play well, right? He can get stacked up real easily by receivers, especially the bigger, more physical ones. He has the tendency, when he's, overwhelmed or dominated, by a physical receiver, to get handsy. So he doesn't do well against that. You can't pop him on the outside against a guy like T. Higgins, against a guy like A.J. Brown. They'll eat him for dinner, So he, I think at his frame, he's probably going to be destined to the slot. I think in specific schemes, like a cover 3 or cover 4 base, you can probably have him play the boundary, the off man boundary, or the outside zone boundary cornerback slot. That's just not what he's going to be asked to do for the Jets a lot. So the fit is a little awkward for me, but the player's phenomenal, man. Somebody's going to get a steal. And I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. I really wouldn't. With Seattle picking at 32, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Johnson sneaks into the end of the first round, because he is that perfect type of cornerback that Seattle and McDaniel wants there.
Dane Brugler has him as his third corner as well, so you're not alone with being very high on this player. Do you think the Jets, though, they have room for another Chris Johnson? How do you think Christopher Johnson would feel about this decision?
I don't even know if Christopher Johnson knows if he's in Newton or Boonton half the time. So.
Oh, man. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. We have a Chad Pennington helmet up for grabs on the show. Let me shout out some amazing listeners who already entered the raffle. Frank P dropping a 10 spot for the people before the show started. So if you're one of the 10 that got a membership from Frank, make sure you thank him. Let's go.
And here we go. Let's go.
How about this? A 5 spot from Roster Dread 305. He's playing to win that Chad helmet today.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Damn right, Rosto. Well done. Ricky NY with a super chat. Dom, you and I were both high on corner Julian Neal, but his vulnerability versus speed receivers gives me pause. Thoughts? For those who don't know, who is Julian Neal? Where is he projected to go? And your thoughts on him as a prospect real quick.
My thoughts on him as a prospect is real good. He's a top 30, top 35 player on my big board. My final big board will be out this week on Jets X Factor. So, shameless plug, check it out there. Julian Neal's my cornerback 5. 6'2", 210 pounds. You talk about a Aaron Glenn type receiver. Aaron Glenn type cornerback, a guy that's tall, that's long, that's physical, that can play physical press man. For me, that's, there's only a couple of them in this class. Julian Neal is one of them. Solid tackler, drive through, wrap and drive tackler. I'm not necessarily concerned with his long speed, as Ricky NY talks about here. They asked him to play a lot of off coverage. I just think that he was a tick late on a lot of stuff. They asked him to do a little too much off coverage. If you ask me, at Arkansas, that's not his bread and butter. Very similar to what AZ Thomas was in Florida State, where they came to their epiphany and realized that, he did his best work as a press man on an island. I think Julian Neal will do the same. Almost 34-inch arms too. Taller cornerback, so he's got those high hips. Sinking and breaking sometimes is a little bit harder, or flipping them to turn and run is a little bit harder for guys like that. But the press technique is really good. He can fly off the edge as a blitzer when he's called upon to do so. I think he understands the game and understands defense and how to use the boundary, especially as an extra defender. I think he does that really good, using his body and the sideline to be the barrier between the receiver and the ball. Julian Neal is probably going to go a lot later than I graded him out. He's a late second round pick for me, late second, early third grade. Probably more of a day 3 guy in real draft terms, because he's kind of typecasted. I don't think he's going to fit very well in an off-man scheme. So, you get a defense like Aaron Glenn, who's going to be looking for those long, tall, long, physical press man guys. Neal is a perfect fit.
Comments, questions, super chats. They will cut the line. Dom C with us for a few more minutes here. So I have to get your thoughts on the Reese Bailey debate, because it felt like for a while it was going to be Reese at number 2 overall. Now there's a lot of David Bailey buzz. You had Breer, Jeremiah, and Schrager each say on various platforms they've heard the Jets are going Bailey, not Reese. We still got 13 days to go, but the betting odds now have David Bailey as the favorite instead of Arvell Reese. What's your take on the number 2 selection? 1, what would you do? And then 2, your thoughts on just the sudden change seemingly with Bailey getting a lot of buzz.
Well, so number 1, what would I do? If you're asking me what I would do between those two, I would lean towards Arvell Reese. I just think that, the physical presence of Arvell Reese is something that I think is, for me, stands out most. I know David Bailey's a phenomenal pass rusher. And let me preface before I get, slandered up and down, your chat or social media. I think both guys are great prospects. Arvell Reese is my number 4 player on the board. David Bailey's my number 10. So they're both in my top 10. I would be happy with either. If you're asking me my preference, I'm going to go with Arvell Reese. I just think that the strength that he plays with, and the rawness that he still has that hasn't been tapped into yet is something that's intriguing. You line him up all over the place, whether it's, off ball, whether he's spying the quarterback, whether you line him up on the edge, whether you line him up in the slot. There's plenty of plays where, he's in the he's playing trail technique, running with tight ends and wide receivers in the in the slot. So I think he's a lot more well-rounded than he gets the respect for. And the power profile, the strength profile is something that's just like unreal. David Bailey's a phenomenal pass rusher. I'm not even going to get into the bend or the ankle flexion or this, that between the two, because to be honest with you, Jake, it's tiresome. My biggest concern with David Bailey is not that he's not a good run defender. I think he's a different type of run defender. He's much more disruptive than he is, strong at the point of attack, which is fine. My biggest question that I left all my evals with David Bailey is what happens if he can't turn that corner, if his speed, which he relied on a lot in at Texas Tech, winning with at Texas Tech, what happens if that fails? You know what I mean? That's the only thing. Like I said, whoever it is, I'm going to be happy because I think they're both great players. And I'm also, Jake, I know I'm in the minority here. Like, I would not be opposed. Like, there's a scenario that for me that makes sense to take your weapon to. Take Carnell Tate, and I don't subscribe to the idea that he's not good enough to take it 2. That's bullshit. If he's good enough to take it 7 or 8, if you're willing to trade up to 7 or 8 to get him, just take him at 2 if you like him that much. Take him. I
said that to Cimini last night, and he was vehemently against that idea. But look, if it's just about getting the best player and you desperately need a receiver and you think he's the number 1 receiver, I personally wouldn't be that upset because I'm so sick of this team not scoring points. I don't think they're going to do Tate at 2.
I don't think they're going to do it. I absolutely don't. But I would, would you be upset, Jake, if we started Carnell Tate at 2, Dylan Thieneman at 16 and Malachi Lawrence at 33? I wouldn't. No. Not at all. Not at all. I think it's there's tons of ways to go about this. So between Arvell Reese and David Bailey, I'd probably lean Reese.
I just don't want Love at 2. I don't know where you are with the Jeremiah Love debate. I know he's one of your highest rated players. You have him as your third best player. But
he's my third best player in the class. He is.
I'm anti-running back at 2. I'd rather them take Tate at 2 than Love at 2.
No, I agree. I don't know if the Jets, and again, this might be a little bit old man or archaic thinking on my end, but I think running backs, if you're going to take them that high in the top 10, they have to be the finishing piece, and the Jets are far from a finishing piece.
Well said. Couple questions for you at the end here.
I'm game.
Let's see. This one's from Joe the Jet. He's been a channel member for 19 months. Thank you very much, Joe. He says, do you think Drew Aller is a possible target for the Jets in round 4, like what Rich Cimini was saying?
Yeah. So, Jake, I try to stay plugged in and I keep track of all the player meetings and that tracker that I have that's, available. If you guys follow me on Twitter or X, it's pinned in my profile where I keep up to date all the meetings that the Jets have with all the prospects. The Jets have met with the most quarterbacks out of any team in the NFL, right? This cycle, I think they have, I don't have it up, but it's somewhere like 11 or 13 quarterbacks that they've met with through the cycle. So I think a round 4 or later quarterback is definitely in the cards. Could that be Drew Aller? It could be one of he could be one of the many that kind of fall into that realm. Is Drew Aller my favorite? Joe the Jet? He's not. I think Drew Aller has, from a physical standpoint, he's got everything that, that the Jets or that Frank Reich would want, right? 6'5", 240 pounds, big arm. Problem is he looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. In the biggest moments, I have yet to see Drew Aller step up and be the guy that kind of makes the play to carry you over that threshold. I don't know if he trusts himself yet. I think he needs a team where he can kind of sit and learn and still develop because he's still very, very young. I think he has a chance to be a fine quarterback. Probably just one of the guys that I would say, I'm going to let somebody else roll the dice on him. You know what I mean?
More super chats coming through the pipeline. Big fella says, can you give some info on Jalen Kilgore, corner out of Auburn?
Well, Jalen Kilgore is not from Auburn. Kilgore's from South Carolina. So if that's who you want, I can give you plenty of context on him. He's another guy that's
Big fella's can I just say this? Big fella's having a rough back-to-back days. Yesterday, he told Beast to draft a kicker that wasn't in the draft this year. And now today, he's asking about a prospect that didn't go to Auburn.
Yeah, Kilgore's a safety that went to South Carolina.
Your thoughts on him?
Sorry. Kilgore's a safety that went to South Carolina. He's a great player, an absolute great player. He has the size, he has the speed. He's somebody that the Jets have met with extensively too. They had a meeting with him. I don't know if he had a 30 visit, but I know that they had a private workout and a private meeting with him, not only at his at the combine, but at his pro day as well. He is very, very similar to the skill set of Minkah Fitzpatrick, and I think he's going to fit in that role of what the Jets expect Minkah Fitzpatrick to play in right now, and that's that big nickel, that's that third safety, that's kind of the overhang slot, kind of not really a box safety, but not really playing single high or just that overhang post where he can do a little bit. He can he can fit the run. He can still match up against tight ends and wide receivers in the slot. Has to do a little bit more. I think Kilgore's in that mold. He's very young. He's one of the few true juniors that came out. They came out this year. Didn't let up a lot of completions. Last year in college, had a under a 50% completion rate against him. Let up some touchdowns, had 9 pass breakups. So he can do that. I think he needs to get become a little bit better of a tackler, especially, not only with his angles, but just with his, finishing his tackles. Kind of a little bit lungy in that sense. I think he had, Jalen Kilgore. 14.5% missed tackle rate last year. So that, kind of something that needs to be addressed. The thing with Kilgore is, like I said, he's going to fit a role that the Jets have occupied now with Minkah Fitzpatrick and with Jarvis Brownlee. Like when it's 11 personnel or more, Jarvis Brownlee's going to be on the field playing that nickel. When it's 12 personnel or when it's base or 12 personnel or 13 personnel, you're probably going to see a lot of Minkah Fitzpatrick playing that slot role. So I just don't know if there's room for a guy like Kilgore on the roster as constituted.
Super chats cut the line. Doc says, Dom, are any of the day 2 or 3 QBs have they differentiated themselves to you on film?
Good. That's a really good question. I'll say this. I have Fernando Mendoza is the top 5 player in the class for me. Fernando Mendoza has been my favorite since the summer, since quarterback. I've been singing his praises. Unfortunately, we don't get the chance to see that. I don't have a full first round grade. I have a high second round grade on Ty Simpson. I have a high third round grade on Garrett Nussmeier. Everyone else, I think, is a day 3 guy. Some better than others. To answer the question, I know you're probably not going to get a starting caliber quarterback out of him, but I really like Carson Beck. I really like what Beck can bring to a team. Like, he's got a strong arm. He's got the moxie. He can push the ball vertically. He's not afraid to do that. He epitomizes what you get in a true pocket quarterback. He's not going to give you much with his legs. He's not very mobile. But for me, when I think about my backup quarterback, right, I want a guy that's, that epitomizes what it means to be a game manager, but has the skill set that if he needs to shoulder the load and put a team on his back and make a play, he can. And I think Carson Beck can do all that. Is he the best? Do I think he's ever going to be like a top 20 starter in this league? I don't. I think he's destined to be a long-term backup. But he's the kind of guy, that's what differentiates, to answer the question here. To me, he's the kind of guy that differentiates that. Like, I think that he can really come in and I think he'll be able to hold the fort down if your starter has to miss some time, couple games, few games, so on and so forth.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Dom's got to run in a few, so get them in quick. Jesse says, would you take Tate at 7, Dom? Meaning the Jets.
I just said I would take him at 2.
Yeah. So I suggested 16 and 44, trade up with the Commanders to get Tate at 7 after, let's say, they took Reese at 2. Your thoughts on that?
I'm all in. I'm all in. And that's something that's been bantered about a lot, in the certain avenues that I kind of frequent, whether it's the Draft Nicks, whether it's the Jets guys, whether it's Twitter. A lot of people have been talking about that. And reality is, it makes a lot of sense, too, because Washington is void of draft capital.
Right.
They need to pick some more stuff up. So, the only question that I would have in something like that is who would be on the board for Washington that is too good to pass up, right? Is it a wide receiver? Will they be willing to pass on Tate and roll the dice on a receiver that comes at 16? They definitely need another receiver. Is it a guy like Caleb Downs, who I think would be, ideal in that defense over there? Is it a guy like Ruben Bain, or David Bailey if they happen to fall? I don't think David Bailey will reach that far, but you never know. Ruben Bain. They need edge rushers there too. What if Sonny Styles goes? What if the Giants, what if Tennessee and the Giants, who I think are the two biggest, two most probable teams to take Sonny Styles, pass on him? Can't you see him, fill in the middle of that defense there? So the question I would have is there going to be too much meat on the bone for Washington to move down from 7 to 16?
Ricky NY in the house. Dom, favorite day 3 guys. Jayshon Barham for me.
Yeah, I'm not. A lot of people like Jayshon Barham. I know he's a Leger Doozable. Leger's a big fan of his. Biggest day 3 guys that I like. Let's see. So, I'll give you positions. How's that, Ricky NY? Because there's a bunch of guys that I think are, right on the cusp of late round 3, early round 4, and even into round 5 that I like out of the tight end group. And I think that the Jets, I think that they need to leave this draft with a compliment to what they have already in Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor can do your inline work, your Y work, and operate from the middle, from the line of scrimmage to that 10-yard, 15-yard window inside the hashes. I think they need somebody that can stretch the defense, that can force missed tackles at a higher rate than Mason Taylor does. I think they need the compliment that they thought they were getting in Stone Smart last year. So guys like Justin Joly out of NC State, who is who's a Westchester County, native himself. I love Justin Joly. Daquan Wright's my number 4 tight end in the class. He's a big, fast, athletic, big slot, if you will, coming out of Ole Miss. I like Michael Trigg. There's some questions about him. Not only his age, not only his his love for the game. I think he played 5 colleges in 6 years. But when you talk about a guy that has wiggle and can force missed tackles, no one did it better than him in the country last year. He had 17 forced missed tackles and 6 touchdowns and 700 yards at Baylor, getting passes from Sawyer Robertson. Oscar Delp is another guy who I think is criminally underrated. So these are all guys that are going to go on day 3. Some of them earlier on day 3, some of them later, that I think would really, really complement the Jets very well. And complement and really complete the tight end room for the Jets really well. There's tons of day 3 targets I like. I like that positional group in that round 4, round 5 mix the best, though.
Dom, this was a blast, man. Really good insight. Glad we could get you on after Cimini gave us some good information on some sleeper guys. And, you knew everything there is to know about those players. So really good stuff. Hopefully we'll get you on again right before the draft and get your final mock and prediction how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I would love to do that, dude. Just let me know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Dom C of Jets X Factor. Follow him on his X account and check out all his content over on JetX. So what I wanted to do was I put together something that I received from The Athletic in the Dane Brugler Beast. They have some film breakdowns on some of the top prospects. So I think you guys will enjoy this. The 3 names we've talked the most about at 2 for the Jets have been Arvell Reese, David Bailey, and Sonny Styles, right? I know there's been some Jeremiah Love discussion, and, Dom and I were batting around Carnell Tate at 2, but it feels like those are the 3. So here right now is a quick breakdown on each of those players. And you tell me after I play this, which ones, Jet fans, you want the team to draft.
Reese is the best non-quarterback in this draft class. He's a freak athlete with football IQ that wants to take your head off on every play. Reese will likely make a position change in the NFL and play edge as a true defensive end or as a 3-4 linebacker. He played inside linebacker in Matt Patricia's scheme. Even if he remained an inside linebacker, he'd be a first-round pick because he's an excellent processor with sideline-to-sideline speed. However, it's his potential pass rush ability that is going to make him a top 5 selection. He's explosive off the edge, he can bend, and he has dynamite in his hands. He doesn't have a lot of true edge rush reps on tape, so there is projection when it comes to his evaluation as an edge rusher, but there are examples of dominance, and he has the right combination of tools to be disruptive in the NFL. He has active hands and does a great job of using them to swipe away punches. He can convert speed into power and knock blockers into the backfield. When you watch Reese on tape, he's playing a lot of off-ball linebacker. Here he's playing a 5-1 front. He's going to see the guard pull, follow the puller. Tight end's going to try to block him. He easily sheds that block and makes a tackle for a short gain. On his next play, he's going to play blitz coverage. He has the flat area. He's going to pass off number 0, pick up the tight end, and he's going to see the quarterback scramble. You can see the closing speed. He's not playing quarterback spy on this play, but he does a phenomenal job of doing it whenever he's asked to. Micah Parsons is the best comp as an extremely athletic inside linebacker that made the switch to edge rusher. For Reese, joining a team with a defensive coordinator that would be willing to be creative with him will get the most out of him.
David Bailey has arguably the highest ceiling of any defender in this class. Let's break down what makes him such a dynamic edge rushing prospect. Following a promising junior season at Stanford in 2024, Bailey transferred to Texas Tech last year before taking the college football world by storm. During his lone year in Lubbock, Bailey finished with 14.5 sacks and 19.5 tackles for loss, on his way to being named a first-team All-American. That isn't a misleading number either. Bailey finished second nationally in pressures among edge players and led the country in quarterback hits. At 6'4" and 250 pounds with just under 34-inch arms, Bailey is pure pass rush juice. He posted 96th percentile marks in the broad jump and the 40-yard dash at the combine. And that type of straight line burst should surprise no one that's watched his tape. The main concern about Bailey's game is whether he has the strength to hold up against the run in a phone booth against NFL tackles. But while Bailey lacks functional strength in condensed areas, his explosiveness still allows him to play with plenty of power. If given a runway to work with, he's capable of jolting linemen backward and winning straight down the middle. Bailey is also a natural rusher who's already able to set up complementary moves like a quick inside spin when tackles over-index for his speed. There just isn't a more gifted pass rusher in this class. Let's look at an example of what makes Bailey such a force. In this clip from Texas Tech's win over Kansas State last season, you can see the package of traits that made Bailey so productive during his final year in college. At the snap, Bailey rockets off the line of scrimmage, uses a quick chop to knock down the tackle's outside hand, dips around the corner before detonating the quarterback. These sorts of quick wins are all over Bailey's tape, but what makes Bailey such an appealing prospect, he's finishing plays, thanks in large part to his elite closing speed after that quick burst off the line of scrimmage. That same play-ending ability also translated to Bailey's run game production in 2025, which was dramatically improved from his first 3 years in college. Bailey had almost as many TFLs this season as he did during his first 3 years combined at Stanford. Bailey's game reminds me of a longer, more powerful Nick Bonito. As an explosive, bendy edge presence, Bonito developed into a top-tier pure pass rusher over the course of his rookie contract. Bailey has similar twitchiness on the outside, but a bit more length and pop to threaten tackles in more ways early in his career.
Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles has quickly become everyone's favorite 2026 prospect. So what about Styles makes a star in this year's class? Sonny Styles was recruited to Ohio State as a safety before making the switch to linebacker heading into the 2024 season. Now 6'5" and 244 pounds, Styles is the dream safety to linebacker convert. Styles shows all the range and coverage chops that you expect out of a former safety, while also having the power and natural downhill ability of a true stack linebacker. So let's take a look at Styles putting all of those traits together. On this play against Tennessee from 2024, Styles, wearing number 6 this year, is the linebacker into the short side of the field. Now, Styles is in the run fit in this too-high defense, so he starts with his eyes in the backfield, but does not bite on the flash fake as he sees the offensive line getting into some pass protection sets. Styles quickly gets into his coverage assignment, jamming the number 2 receiver here, flying up the seam before he runs into the flat to try to undercut any route from the number 1 outside receiver. You see Styles running right at this potential hitch route spot under the number 1 because that's something that Tennessee loves to do, and Styles broke up a pass on that exact route earlier in this game. So after Styles completes his primary assignment in coverage, the play starts to devolve into a scramble drill, and Styles has to go make a play. He's quick to see the running back slipping out of the backfield and flies down to bring the hammer before staring down that poor player that he just blew up. That is good linebacker mentality right there. With sound coverage skills and powerful downhill presence all in one package, it's not hard to see why Styles is one of this year's top prospects. And if you're looking for a comparison, to me it's linebacker Demario Davis. Styles is a little bit taller and longer, but the two share very similar movement patterns, coverage ability, and downhill demeanor.
Demario Davis, who's a New York Jet. Imagine they took Styles. You couldn't ask for a better mentor. Again, I like Sonny Styles. They took him at 2. I have no problem with it. I'm fine with Bailey. I still prefer Reese. I'll throw out Carnell Tate, and then the Jets can maybe trade up for the premium defensive player. Maybe they can go get Caleb Downs, but I think it's going to end up either being Reese or Bailey when push comes to shove. But good stuff there from the Athletic. Their team of football analysts that put together the Beast, led by Dane Brugler. Really good stuff. So I wanted to share some of those film breakdowns because I thought they were interesting. Before we get to your calls, we're presented today by IndaCloud. That's right. I'm going to need some IndaCloud. It's been a long week talking about the Jets and the draft and all the different storylines and scenarios we've been breaking down. I'll tell you this, after a long day, you know what I need? I need some of IndaCloud. I'll tell you what, I specifically need their zero sugar THC sodas. If you don't know what IndaCloud is, it's a fully legal online cannabis dispensary with gummies, premium flower, pre-rolls, and again, those THC sodas. In fact, IndaCloud sent me a bunch of product right here. Promo code Asman. You'll get 35% off and free shipping on orders over $50. So 35% off and free shipping with that code Asman at indacloud.co, indacloud.co. Check it out. It's awesome. Everything's lab tested, federally legal hemp THC, and it will ship discreetly right to your door. So again, if you're 21 and older, check out the website, look for something you like, and use that promo code Asman at checkout so you can save 35% off and you'll get free shipping on orders over $50. Enjoy responsibly. And of course, shout out to IndaCloud for sponsoring the Jake Asman Show. We're going to get to your calls, but first, let me shout out our guy, Mike D's Nuts, who entered the raffle, our Chad Pennington signed helmet raffle on the show today for 4. Mike, thank you very much for your support. Let's get to your calls on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline. First up today is the defending champion in Asmaniac Madness.
The only thing worse than the New York Jets is cheap-ass shoes and head coach blues. At least we got Muji and some first-round picks. Jake, my brother, I'm trying to get hype, but this team sucks, and Joe Bonesy needs me to sell new flippers to this fat dumpster fire.
Jake, my brother.
Bonesy. Big win by the Knicks last night.
Yes, sir. Big win, baby. I'm rocking my Knicks right now. It's time, playoff time.
Yep.
I'll be quick about the draft stuff. I have talked myself into anyone but Reese. I don't want to play for the development aspect of it. If they want Bailey, Bailey's going to come right. Our defense right now, of the guys we brought in, Javondre Sweat, Ominyata, Davis at linebacker, our guy, Minka, we are going to stop the run. So every time we bring up, Reese is going to stop. We're going to stop the run. If you give me Will on one side and Bailey on the other on 3rd and 7 because we can stop the run, maybe you got something. I don't really know enough, so I can't say. When you watch Blewett and Frankie battle. And, what resonates with Frankie says is how when they say he only had like 1 tackle for loss in 6 games, or whatever that stat is that Frankie always goes to, I just don't like playing for the development. But, the love stuff I can't even talk about. Reese is on the team, and besides Reese not being a good short yardage back, Reese would be a top 5 back on another team. Reese would have won Rookie of the Year if he didn't get hurt and Garrett did. Is Love going to 100% win Rookie of the Year? I don't care if Reese said he doesn't want to be here. Who would be? Garrett's an outlier to be so cool with losing and smiling and being the guy Garrett is.
They paid him. They all want to be paid. That's how this works. Myles Garrett didn't want to be in Cleveland either. Guess what? He took the money. That's how this works.
Exactly. So if Reese gets paid and we have a little bit of success, Frank Reich has proven he can build the team around running game. So Reese could be right back into the JETS with a little bit of money and success. But it's really all I got on the Jets. The battle today, Kyle Clifton versus Petey Castro. You know, I'll say about Kyle, he's a consistent caller. Great, very informative. This is his time. This is where Kyle thrives. He loves draft talk. He can do it for days. Very, very good caller. I mean, top 3 intro, right? But we're talking about Petey Castro. I mean, this is Petey Castro we're talking about. Petey Castro, if you need somebody to watch your kids, you call Petey Castro. If you're fighting with your wife and you need to talk to somebody about talking off the ledge, you call Petey Castro. If you need to borrow money and you want a really nice mafia interest rate, you call Petey Castro. If you need to hide a dead body, you call Petey Castro. Petey Castro is that friend you call on the phone like this. Your wife caught you and you said you were somewhere and you weren't. You were out with the boys at the club. You call Petey and you're like, hey, Pete, I need you to be real honest about this right now. He already knows. Boom. He knows to lie for you. You say, was I at your house last night? Of course you were, Bones. We were watching football. Like, Petey Castro is the man. Last year, he with that battle with Nate, Castro brings it. When he has to step up, he brings it. He's an OG. I love you, Kyle, but I got to go Pete all day today, man. That's my dog, and I just wanted to throw my support when I have to give it like today. It is a big tournament. I love Kyle. He is the man, but we talk about Petey Castro.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bonesy with a loud endorsement for Peter Castro in this afternoon's Sweet 16 showdown between the 1 seed Kyle Clifton and the 5 seed Peter Castro. Here to respond is
Well, that call was nonsense. So,
listen, guys, I love you. I got to pick up my daughter in 3 minutes. Kyle, I love you, man, but I do got to run. I'm sorry. I've known Petey a long time, and it's been 4 years.
You're allowed to have your preferences, Bonesy, but you might be the only guy who goes to the mafia for a good interest rate.
That's a joke, but you know what I'm saying.
I know it is, and so was that one. So
I love you guys.
I appreciate your opining, but I think that the chat watches the show, and I'm here every day, out there plugging, loving the Jets.
Damn right, Kyle.
Yep. So I did see Castro's photo AI montage yesterday, and I thought it was adorable. Not as adorable as him as Kermit going over the handlebars, but adorable nonetheless. You've met me before, Jake. Do I strike you as someone who ever gets taken for a ride? Come on.
I don't know. This photo looks pretty realistic to me, Kyle.
I don't know. I think you might have had to give AI some very specific instructions there. Let's just leave it at that. I think I really enjoyed the aspect of when you guys kind of dipped into the sleepers a little bit. Because, if you're going to take Bailey, right? And, I just don't know how much difference is there between a David Bailey and a Malachi Lawrence, at the projection of the high end, right? Like, I think that the tools for Arbel Reese are really, really special. And, when a lot of people are saying, well, there's a lot of projection with Reese. And I made the point on Boy Greek's show this morning that, to me, the projection is a lot with Bailey as far as the run goes, and I'm glad that he's shown improvement towards that regard, and he could end up being a tremendous pro as well. What it comes down to here is like we feel like we got to get out of this pick, right? And just kind of move it so you can take someone that you're more comfortable with at a spot you're more comfortable with, right?
Correct. It's easier said than done, though. Now, I will say this, though, Kyle. For once, Mike Tannenbaum has a take that's atrocious that I hope actually comes true. Take a listen to Mike Tannenbaum today talking about a team that should trade up to number 2.
First time since 2015 does a team trade up in the first round for a running back. That was Melvin Gordon of the Chargers in 2015. Jeremiah Love may be the best player in this draft. He is explosive with the ball in his hands. He's an impeccable pass blocker. He catches the ball 63 receptions. And if I'm the New York Giants and I'm trying to set the tone with John Harbaugh, do I actually think about trading up above the Tennessee Titans at 4? Maybe flipping Peter with Arizona at 3 to get a tone-setting, culture-setting player in Jeremiah Love.
Come up to number 2, Giants. Come on down, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that trading up for a running back for the Giants is in their best interest. To be honest with you, it's kind of like they wouldn't have learned any lessons from Saquon when they couldn't block for him to begin with. Saquon was a good player. Like, does Love project to be as good as Saquon was? I mean, to me, I get a lot of Reggie Bush vibes from Jeremiah Love. Now, Reggie Bush was a very dynamic player at USC, and he had his moments in the NFL. But I think he was averaging like 11, 12 points a game, like right in the meat of his career. And for a guy who kind of looks and gives me the same vibes, I don't know if I'm trading up for that guy. That's just how I feel about it.
Any team that trades up for a running back in 2026, your GM should be fired. That's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I'd look at it too. But like, I just think, we have options here. If we wanted to see if Keldrick Falk was there at 16 or if Lawrence were there at 33, we have that capability. We could stick and pick. The decision makers could be very comfortable with Reese or Bailey. I can tell you from a personal standpoint, I'm a little bit more comfortable with Reese because I think he's going to be a hell of a pro. And that's probably where I would go if it was me making the decision. I appreciate your time as ever, Jake.
Kyle, good luck this afternoon against a fierce competitor. But wait a second. Hold on. Do you hear that? Oh, my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Hey,
Kyle.
What's going on?
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
How are you?
I can hear you, Peter.
Can you hear me?
Good job.
Excuse me?
It sounds like you're on delay.
Can you
hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It sounds like there's a loop or a delay. Do you have something on in the background?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah, I can hear you, Peter, but
Kyle, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Good job.
Good job.
Well, good luck today, Kyle.
Good luck to you.
Good
man.
luck. And
Good job.
everything's for fun.
Can you
It's
hear
a fun
me?
I feel the
tournament.
same way. I feel the same way.
Good luck. And everything's for fun.
Can you hear
I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
Can you hear me?
Everything's for fun.
Good job. Can you hear me?
Jake,
Can you hear me?
Oh my God.
Good job.
Jake.
How about you shut up, bitch? On the cake.
Oh my
See all
God.
they did? See what they? No, that's tomorrow.
I don't know if
See,
they
you
can
know what
even
they
hear
did?
me.
And they pulled all the information up.
Can you hear me?
They found over hundreds
Hello?
and hundreds of lies on him.
Good job.
Okay, Jake. Enough.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Did we figure it out, Peter? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you can.
Yes.
Good job.
Oh, you're such a nut.
Your delay was brutal. I mean, we didn't know what was happening.
Oh my God.
Can you hear me?
Jake?
Can you hear me?
Peter?
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm talking to you.
I hear
Hello.
Max.
Do you hear me? Let me bring on my tech guy. All right, he'll get to the bottom of this.
I would toss you to the left and the right before you could even count to three.
The only thing you can toss is a man
You
standing
can't
in your
count
own
to three.
pants. ¿Qué pasa, Mr. Castro? How
Hey,
are you?
Beast. Good morning.
I just finished breakfast
I
about an
have
hour
no
ago.
volume.
What happened?
Mm,
You got no volume.
Can you hear me?
I'll be back.
We can't hear you there. Ladies and gentlemen, back to our feature presentation of the Jake Asman Show. What, look like a retard to you or something?
All right, we'll work on hopefully getting Peter Castro some internet that works. In the meantime, how about a 10 spot in the Asmaniac raffle for 10 total entries is TH3 Entertainment. Let's go. Hit it.
Just don't let go of the rope.
And don't let go of the rope.
Let's go, Jets! Let's go, Jets! Let's go, Jets! Let's go, Jets!
All right, here are the people who just got a membership. 10 of you say thank you to TH3 Entertainment, Taken Carpet Monster, the P-Word Assassin, Calangio, Alex Perez, David J. 8W, Dom Perino, Brandon Montelevo, Curtis 2111, 2009 MGH, and Christian Avilas, all receiving a gifted membership. Let's keep it rolling now with your calls. But first, another super chat from Phantom Green and White who says, another Godfather comp, Peter Castro is Hyman Roth. Speaking of Peter Castro, we're hoping that his internet woes have been solved, because joining us right now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is
Wayne, this is for you.
Oh, shit.
Hello, Jake.
Peter.
Oh, it's working now.
There we go.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it's working. I just wanted to wish Kyle luck in the match today. And as far as the Jets go, why don't we just get the 4 best players we possibly can that are left whenever we're picking? And hopefully they're mostly offensive players, because I'm sick of the defense. Orville Reese should be number 1, I think.
I think Reese will go 2 to the Jets, and then everything after that, they better lean offense.
I'd like Cooper, too, the receiver.
Would you take him at 16?
No.
So 33, if he's there, you would potentially take him.
Yep.
And what do you do at 16?
Ty Simpson.
So you want the quarterback. Why don't you do that in reverse? I think there's a better chance of Ty being there at 33 than Cooper.
Ty's not going to be there at 33.
Who's taking him?
The Rams, Arizona. There's a few teams that might trade. Cleveland. He's gonna be a good player, Jake. We need a quarterback that we can depend on, that's sitting back there learning. We got a good team. The team should be good. The only thing we lack really is coaching.
Well, that's a pretty big thing.
That's my biggest concern.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Yeah, exactly. You know, hopefully Glenn comes on this year. He learned last year, and he's a lot better this year. I hope he is, for his sake.
It's hard to be worse. It's just, is he good enough to save his job? We'll see.
Yeah, and I'd love for them to get Jeremiah Love also.
I don't want him at 2, though. If you traded down and took him, that's a different conversation. But I don't think they're going to be able to trade out of 2.
Well, I think during the draft you're going to see a trade. You'll know either a couple of days before the draft or during the draft. I think they're gonna get rid of Reese. I really do.
I mean, the only way you would get rid of Reese is if you're going to take Jeremiah Love at 2.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
And you think they're going to take him at 2?
I don't know if they're going to take him at 2. I don't know. They have enough ammunition where they can move up and get anybody they want.
Yeah, but Love, I don't think is getting past 5. It doesn't sound like.
We'll see. I'm not sure about it. I'm not really a draft guru. You know, I like all these guys look good, but if I had to pick one, I think it would be Sonny Styles. Looks better than all of them to me.
Well, Styles at 2. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, so would I. I like Styles. I like Bailey. I don't like Bailey that much. I like Reese better.
I like Reese as well. I would take him at 2.
Yep. Good choice. What time is the show this afternoon, Jake?
4 p.m. So roughly around 4:45-ish, I'd say. Polls will open. And if you guys call in, we'll obviously put you guys up first.
All right. Thanks, Jake. See you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the 16 remaining Asmaniacs, the great Peter Castro up against Kyle Clifton this afternoon.
The biggest mistake they made is not firing this whole crew of shitheads before the season started. The coaches can't make decisions. They don't correct anything. I mean, this is a joke.
Well done by Peter Castro. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline is the Rooster, who's next. Hello, Rooster.
How are we doing today, Jake? Great Nick win yesterday. Great Nick win.
Yeah, they needed it bad. I know Brown didn't play, but it's
when Josh Hart is knocking down shots, it's a completely different team. That second half, he was not afraid to shoot, opens everything up. But I love the pick and roll between Cat and Brunson. It's becoming a real weapon, and looking forward to the playoffs. Draft. You mentioned yesterday, why does it feel we've been talking about the draft? This is the longest draft. Because since the trade of Quinnen Williams and Sauce, we've been talking pretty much thinking about the draft. So it's almost been like it's bled into the season, into now. It's the longest of all time. And I agree with you, just because of that trade of Quinnen and Sauce. We've been thinking about who we're taking, who's out there, Mendoza, to this, to that. Here's my take on Reese Bailey. It's very simple. Darren Muji's job is to decide when this kid's career is over, who had the better career, who's going to be the better football player for his career, not the first 7 games, maybe not the first season, but when his career is done, we're going to say Arvell Reese was better than David. That is all I'm looking at. I'm not, and if you're drafting to save Aaron Glenn's job, or we think we can be better this year, then the organization is still nowhere. It's backwards. We have to draft the better player. That's it. That's the pick.
I agree. And look, if they think Bailey's the better player because he's the better player, okay, no problem with that. There's plenty of people I respect that think he's the better player. But it can't be, oh, well, he'll have more sacks in year 1, and that looks better for us trying to save our job. That can't be the thought process if they think Reese ultimately within 3 years is the better player.
That's it. And that's kind of the same. Like, we can't draft around the weakness of the head coach. It doesn't work that way. Whether he's bad or not, that's going to happen because of it. It's going to happen. Draft the best players for this football team. Hope this coach could coach them. If he can't, he will be fired. And then the next coach will have the best. And Darren Muji, remember, if Darren Muji has to say to this, if it doesn't work out here, hey, I drafted the best guys. This guy couldn't coach him. Not, well, I drafted for it. That he looks weak. So I think Muji is going to sit there at 2 and is going to say, guys, Arvell Reese is the guy. He's going to be in 5 years. We're going to be like, how could we even think about, or David Bailey's automatic. He's going to grab sacks. I'm not sure about Reese. I don't think he's going to be as good. So I'm going to take Bailey. That's what he's got to do. And we do that, it'll work out. We got a lot of picks, a lot of ammunition. Just make the best pick for I agree with Castro said, get the best players in here. Don't get them try to be cute. Don't try to win 6-7 games. Draft the best players. The rest the coach should be able to coach them up. And if he can't, we'll fire him.
Couple follow-ups for you, Rooster.
Yes,
Legacy Green wants to know, if a rooster lays an egg, which way does it roll?
A rooster, that's all I'll say. So I cannot answer the egg rolling question, but I only crow at midnight.
Spencer Green wants to know, do you have an interior designer?
Well, this is you don't like the backdrop here? It's, I can't really tell. Beautiful grass.
I love it. It looks like you have a wonderful home. You
Listen,
said
my
you
wife
live in
does.
Westchester,
What am I going to say? You think I tell my wife how to design the room? Whatever she wants to do, she does. I don't care. You got to pick your battles, whoever that was, Mr. Green. Great matchup this afternoon between Clifton, Castro. My opinion, Kyle Clifton is just a true professional. Not only he's Jets #1. He gives you everything. I think he wins today, though I do love Peter Castro. I love his heart for Ty Simpson. One thing, Jake, and I don't like to do it online. I never did get my helmet from 228.
You got to send me. You got to send me your address. You didn't email me.
I've emailed you a bunch of times.
Where'd you send it to? I don't have an email from you.
Asman Jake.
Asmanjake at Gmail. Do it right now when you get off the phone. I've been meaning to ask you about that.
I will do it. One other thing. Where's Gary? Is he? I heard someone said he sent them up in space to help the astronauts get home. Is that true?
Yeah, he's hanging out at NASA right now to prepare.
The guys, Jake, you're the best. Be good, buddy.
Email me, Bruce. I had it on my list. I know you want a prize.
You're the best.
Martin helmet or a Namath helmet? It's one of them.
It's a Namath helmet.
Oh yeah, shoot me an email. I have it. I'll send it to you.
Let me just make sure I have the right address. Asmanjake at gmail.com.
One S, you sicko. ASMAN Jake at gmail.com.
One S. Oh, one S.
Gotcha. See, I didn't
it's
get
on the rooster. When the rooster is wrong, he will admit he's wrong. You're the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Rooster. Rooster's a phenomenal caller. I wish he was in the tournament this year. He's great. Envelette says, I always see John Heyman in this guy. I kind of see that a little bit. Rooster's a better looking guy than John Heyman, though, I will say. No disrespect to John Heyman. Man, also, I should have said this to Rooster when he was on the line, the chat all over this. Gary might be in Iran. We didn't consider that. Think about it. Beast has been yelling about this for days.
Gary is a cheater, and he's a disgrace to this country. I think somebody should throw him in Iran and let him be the yeah, that's right.
Incredible. All right, more calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, a legend among us is next.
He's home, his belly's on the bed. That's what feels good. On the road, his belly's on the bed. In a dirty hotel room. He calls the show, his belly's on the bed. He's just more comfortable. He got a beard, loves the jets, super jets. He's a big fella, sleeps alone. There's no room on his bed. There's a big fella.
Hey, man. What's up?
Big fella, how are you?
I've been better, man. I got a couple things wrong over the past 2 days, and I want to atone for that, man. Yesterday was
great.
What's that?
The kicker thing yesterday with Beast was so funny.
Yeah. I mean, I missed that he was going back to school. That's the guy who kicked Tennessee's ass, literally, and I want him as a Jets kicker, but little did I know he was going back to Oklahoma. So I was telling him, say Tate Sandell, and he's like, oh, Tate Sandal, and I was like, okay. Yeah, and then today with the Jalen Kilgore thing, this whole draft thing is the colleges are confusing me at this point, bro. I'm like oversaturated. It's a hell of a time of year. So I'd like to apologize to the Asmaniacs. I was wrong, and I'll admit it, just like Rooster did. I admit that I was wrong. So,
well said.
Thank you. Now, I wanted to talk about David Bailey. Okay, I read Nania's thing on Jets X Factor about David Bailey and how people are saying like how his work ethic isn't that great, and I don't want a guy like that. You know, I want a guy who's going to be there every single play and working hard every single day. I really don't. I don't think that's I don't think that's a good thing for the number 2 pick, obviously. Where do you see like the percentage of us drafting Bailey over Reese right now? Do you think it's smoke or do you think it's for real?
I think there's some validity to it. I still think it's going to be Reese, and I would bet on Reese if I had to make a pick, but I could see it.
Yeah, I mean Bailey, he's a good pass rusher and everything, but he reminds me of like Will McDonald. He really does, with like not being strong enough to go against those big linemen. And that's Will's problem. You know, he's always having to spin and not power people around. You know, I just don't think it's a good idea to pick a guy who's exactly like the guy who we already have. You know, I don't know. That's what I see about that. So.
Reese, I feel like you're swinging for the home run there. Like he could do a lot more. And like Bailey's not great against the run. You already have that with McDonald. Like Reese with Carl Dunbar coaching him up. I'm really excited to see what that looks like. I don't know if anyone saw this yesterday. I pulled it to play, and I'll play it. I'll play it right now. So where is this? Reese joined Ben Solak and did an interview with him where Solak basically goes over film with him. Mm-hmm. And here's 48 seconds of Arvell Reese saying he didn't even know what pass rush moves he was doing at the beginning of the year and was just figuring it out on the fly. Now, combine this with an elite defensive line coach working with him. Here's Arvell Reese and Ben Solak.
Your fastest play all year?
Yeah, let me see that. Literally, like, I didn't even have a name for what I just did.
Max speed was 18.8.
No, like, literally, like, even when I did this, I didn't even have a name for what I just did. But now that I'm working on pass rusher right now and studying everything, I'm realizing right here I showed power, which made him shoot his hands, and then that's when I threw the cross chop.
Yeah, it's the ability to dig those toes in there, right? Look at that shin angle. That's where your knee is. And now with your toes and your knees pointed to the quarterback, you can really flatten this thing, right? And then he gets a little bit of a hook on you to slow you down. That's the only reason there's a throwaway, not a quarterback hit here.
This was just kind of like just out the blue, like never really did this. I did a couple times in practice, but never really like perfected this move to just go out there and do it. But yeah, just that's what this is right here, that cross chop.
Again, think about what they could do when they actually teach him how to be a pass rusher. He was effective without getting a ton of coaching. He's the best athlete in this draft, you could argue. He's 20 years old. He's already an all-pro linebacker. Like, he could do a lot with him.
Yeah, I mean, even before, like, you know, the season ended, college football season ended, he was projected to go, like, in the top 5. Like, he was that good. David Bailey rose up the draft board. I mean, it seems like this guy would be a steady. Everybody sounds like this guy's got the goods. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'd like Styles, but Reese, we should just draft an Ohio State guy, bro. That's it. Just somebody from Ohio State, please. You know, don't overthink it. We got four guys from Ohio State that we could choose from. Just pick one, please. You know, that's I don't know. That's what I got with that. So this matchup today, Clifton versus Castro. That's a hell of a matchup. Both of them are legends of the Asmania. So it's going to be tough to choose, my man.
Well, you make a decision, Kyle.
What's that?
You're gonna make the decision on either Kyle or Castro.
Yeah,
It's not an easy one.
It isn't. It's definitely not an easy one. I've been working on my matchup on Monday. So, you know, I'm a little distracted with everything, but yeah, it's gonna be a good time on Monday. I'll tell you that right now. So anyway, Jake, I appreciate it and have a good day, my man, and go Jets.
Go Jets, big fella. Appreciate you. Well done. This is a great one too. Him and AJF going head to head. So I just got an email from the Rooster. You guys want to laugh? I went back and I checked the thread. AskmanJake@gmail. It's on you, Rooster. And then he followed up. He goes, my bad. I'm an idiot. Rooster, I got you. I will get your Namath helmet that you won fair and square in a weekly raffle. I will get that situated over the weekend for you. Kyle Clifton, speak of the devil, he's in the raffle for the Chad Pennington sign helmet today for 4. I'd like to use this super chat to formally ask Beast, the big fella, Doc Jets fan Gary, really anyone undecided for their vote. Winning involves shaking hands, reaching out, and being there for the community at a grassroots level. Kyle Clifton running a tight campaign, try and take down Peter Castro this afternoon.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
One of the people that Kyle is asking for their vote from is the Beast, who joins us now because he's on the line.
How about you shut up, bitch? Silent but violent. Step into the ring, and you'll find out what it's all about.
Are you going to vote for Kyle Clifton?
Well, we'll see what happens. As a matter of fact, I was about to put on Tecmo Super Bowl 91. He was in that video game. Kyle Clifton was. Look it up. Number 59. Serve up. Cowabunga. Oh, and remember, Cowabunga. What'd he say? Cowabunga!
Hey, Beast, there's a guy on the line who wants to shave off your head. Do you want to meet him?
No, thank you. No, you can forget. I'm sorry, you're not getting any of it, son. You can take a look in, take a ticket, get in line like everybody else.
Come on, Beast. Give me that mohawk.
Rejected.
Give me the mohawk.
I'm part of the Road Warriors. I'm part of the Eliminators. So you ain't getting nothing.
Well, let me make it better. Let me make it better. Let me make it look better at least.
Right here.
Whoa. Well, that's a mohawk, all right.
Yeah, that's what you'll get right there. Take it to the bank, Sonny.
Now, that's gonna cost you. That's gonna cost you a little extra there, buddy, because you got an afro going there.
I look good. I'm twice as hot. I'm twice as sexy. I got a better looking body. To all the haters, you know what? As someone once said, haters are gonna hate because they ain't got game. Because they're too lame and ain't just the same. Take a licking. Get the stepping.
All righty.
Cold water.
I would toss you to the left and the right before you could even count to three.
The only thing you can toss is a man standing in your own pants.
What's going on, Carlos?
What's going on, Jake, buddy? Just here with the Squirtle once again.
Nice.
I'm actually calling, so I wanted to get y'all opinion on. I know a lot of people are talking about at 2, we must get a pass rusher. Is that truly like something that we must say, like with the signings that we've made? Is that really a must this year per se? And then the second thing is, if we traded out of that second spot and ended up with a Jeremiah Love? I know people are not crazy about this, but you were signing up to get a Derrick Henry. Would you not take that? Would you not sign up for like a Derrick Henry if it was guaranteed that we was getting Love and he turned out to be a Derrick Henry type of player?
Yeah. Well, here's the issue with that. There's no guarantee that he's going to be that type of player. And Derrick Henry, like he didn't win anything at the beginning of his career until they got like a real team around him. I just think the Jets have too many needs to take a running back that high. I think Dom C said it best. It's like, if you're going to take a running back that high, it needs to be like the finishing piece to your team. I agree with that philosophy. I don't think at 2 you could justify it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just thinking about, I don't know. I almost feel like I feel like the trade back scenario is definitely something that might happen. I feel like they'll trade out of that number 2 and still end up with the pass rusher. But let's see. I think Muji trades back. Honestly, I'm really high on him.
Yeah, but who's
most
coming
likely
up?
Trading back.
Like trading back, it sounds good. We all want to do it. Who's coming up? Like what team is trading to number 2?
Yeah, we'll see. But anyways, JETS, Jets. Appreciate you,
Carlos. I appreciate you. Again, I'm all for trading back. I've been saying this the entire offseason. The reason I don't spend a ton of time like talking about it is because I don't see it as something that's very likely. Now, we did spend some time the other day talking through some scenarios. For those interested, I posted a best of video this morning of us running through about 6 different trades the Jets could make during night 1 of the draft. Bill Barnwell presented 6 scenarios. 6 of the 32 proposed trades involved the Jets. So I covered each one with Frankie B the other day on the show, and then we clipped it and posted it this morning for those who want to watch that specific part of that show. I don't see it. Someone name me the team. Spencer Green writes in, Paul Heyman said you were a fraud, Beast. He told me. Beast, your thoughts.
Spencer Green is a mama's boy who basically steals credit cards, and he can't handle the truth. He's the fraud. He's the real fraud. Plus, he likes to go after people like Brigga, me, and many others. And plus, he never called into this show. He's a chicken shit. Plus, did he pay you that money that he owed you? I didn't think so, because he's nothing more than a Go lay those eggs, son. You might as well shit them out your ass and wash them while you're at it. Go.
Well said, Beast. The Rooster says, LOL, Asman, that's on me. My bad. Ha. Rooster gifting 5 channel memberships. Let's go, Rooster. That was last year's draft party with Fireman Ed. This year we're in Pittsburgh for the draft party. See you there, Asmaniacs. Can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, we're presented by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePick app. We got sports galore this weekend. Yankees, Mets, Islanders, Knicks. It's all happening, baby. It is all happening. Play $5, get $50 instantly in lineups when you use the code HMA. I finally got a PrizePick lineup right yesterday. Little three lineup PrizePick battle, and I hit 2 of 3, a little flex play. Today, I put together a slip involving the Knicks and the Raptors tonight. A former Knick and a current Knick is what I'm looking at in this matchup. This is $10 to win $30, a little 2-pick power play. Jalen Brunson needs to have more than 24.5 points. Emmanuel Quickly needs to have more than 12.5 points. So former Knick Quickly, the captain Jalen Brunson, he's played well against Toronto this year. Quickly, I think, extra motivated, playing back at the Garden. So these are the 2 that I liked, and I'm riding with it later. Brunson over 24.5. Quickly, more than 12.5. My PrizePick lineup for today's show. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Last chance to get in on the fun here. I got open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. Spencer Green says, that does it. Defamation. I'm suing for the attic, you loser. See you in the court of Hogwarts. I will prevail. For more on this, let's bring back the man that we call the Beast.
Happy New Year! You know what he's doing? He's doing this because he can't get his way. Well, tough love, kid. Grow a set of balls and get a job. You're your mama's boy, because that's what you are, a big fat mama's boy who can't call into the show, can't pay Jake his money, can't be a man. You're too busy with your little yellow whitey tighties on, and you probably got a little bit of a piss stain on your shorts because you sit when you pee. Idiot. That's right. You heard me. He sits when he pees. Now go to another caller. Let's move along. Move along. Shoot! Bang! Shoot! On the ball! Shoot! Shoot! The train has left the station. Shoot! Well, we're leaving the station. Penn Station has left the building. And remember to sponsor your sponsor of the day.
Nunchy, wiki.
Sponsor Poppy today.
La Puerta Negra.
Spencer Poppy.
So everybody, please respect your elders. That's all.
Spencer Poppy right now. Except Spencer can't handle Poppy. Handle the Poppy for him. Buy it now in all new stores. Poppy, get it while it's fresh. Every store.
Sexy.
Now go to another caller. Yeah.
Woo! Ka-ching!
Another caller, please. Let's go get that Poppy right now. At every store. Stringing the cheese. Oh, that's even better. Let's go to another caller, shall we? Time to grow balls. Grapefruit-sized balls. I don't like grapefruit. I don't like seafood because I get allergic to it and so I break out in goddamn hives because I got problems with that. Well, since the Godfather's in the house, is any pips up in this house? Oh, shit. All right. Now, roll me a fatty and kiss my big, big ass. Woo! Roll me that fatty and say this with me, boys. You know what time it is. Pimpin' ain't easy. Get ready, set tonight. Remember, pimpin' ain't easy when you deal with the real king of the streets. And that's right. Oh shit! Let's party. Now let's get down and get funky like nobody gives a shit. Yo, take it to the left, y'all. Take it back now, y'all. What? One off this time. Left foot, 2 stumps. Left foot, 2 stumps. Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees. Turn it out. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One off this time. One off this time. Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees. Slide to the left. Turn it out. To the right. Take it back now, y'all. One off this time. One off this time. Right foot, 2 stumps. Right foot, 2 stumps. Turn it out. Turn it out. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One off this time. Left foot, 2 stumps. Left foot, 2 stumps. Hands on the knees. Hands on the knees. Turn it out. Thank you, everybody. Now you're down with the real pimping. Now let's get saying the pimping ain't easy. Pimping ain't easy, baby. Pimping ain't easy, baby. But now we gotta get 5 on it. Can I get 5 on it? Woo-hoo! Now let's go on down to LA, baby. Woo-hoo! Let's get down to the funky and get down to the monkey. Ooh, yeah. Now can you dig it, sucker? Woo! I just had chicken. Chicken.
That was remarkable. What a performance. I'm worried I'm going to get some copyright infringement issues with YouTube. Snowball's onto something here. That was unbelievable. I always wonder when something like that happens. Imagine you just tuned into the show for the first time. You're like, what? I clicked on this video because it said something about Rich Cimini's under the radar draft targets. And why is this guy in an attic doing the cha-cha slide? Amazing. I don't even know how we follow that one up. We probably don't. I'll just read some super chats and we'll do a couple more calls and we'll try again at 4 p.m. today. Brian Morales in the raffle for 2. He goes, how much for the Keyshawn jersey? I know you're a capitalist. I really don't want to wait on the raffle. Also, get the best player at 2, regardless of position. This team needs talent. Agreed, but within reason. Jeremiah Love at 2, I can't do. I'm not taking a running back. All right, if you become radicalized by Lou B, God bless you, Brian, but I'm not doing it. Shout out to Lou. He's going to be one of the Jet fans they show on TV at the draft this year. He'll be in the pit right next to the stage. He got selected by the Jets to represent the fan base. So Lou B will be there representing the Asmaniacs in this fan base. As far as the Keyshawn jersey goes, Brian, if you're willing to just buy a jersey, why wouldn't you just buy it online? Why buy it from me? but I will put you in the raffle for 2. Big Fella writes in, Jake, going against the country of Australia is a huge test for me. I'm not taking AJF lightly. He's a great caller and took down Mad Max. Tough opponent. Well, your opponent, Big Fella, is the next caller. Hello, Australian fella.
I was just wondering what you thought about that cornerback from Auburn, Kilgore.
Well done. That's great. You got the tank top on, the hat. He's laying down. Well done. This is great.
The only thing I'm missing is the right kind of beard. I thought about it, but no, I didn't want to shave. I didn't want to go that far.
That's a good effort by you, AJF. Well done, sir.
How much did they pay Beast to advertise that poppy drink? He was going on and on about that.
I no idea, and someone in the chat says he was pronouncing it improperly too. So I don't know if they even got their money's worth.
I mean, that definitely sounds like Beast Breaker. So how many different players would you be okay with taking with the second pick?
4. Let's see. Reese, Bailey, Styles, Tate.
And Arvell Reese is the guy you'd take, right?
I would
Like
take Arvell Reese.
if you were Muji. And then is it in that exact order that you said that's who you would take?
I might actually take Styles before Bailey the more I watch Styles. I don't know if I'm there yet because I still value the pass rusher, but I'm going Reese. We'll say Bailey, we'll say Styles, and then we'll say Tate.
How would you feel if they drafted just someone else that, like, not one of those players?
Well, the only other player I think could be in play then would be Jeremiah Love, and I would not like that.
I mean, they're trying to re-sign Reese. I think that's, sort of what they're going at. They're trying to get that extension. So I really can't see it. And if they did, I think I agree. I would be pissed off. I really want them to re-sign Brees because I want to get myself a Brees jersey, but I've been holding off because I'm scared that he's going to get traded or he's not going to re-sign after this season. So I'm waiting for that deal.
I think Brees is going to get a contract extension. That's my personal feeling. Now, wait on the jersey, though, because it's the Jets. But I do think that he's going to get paid.
I definitely hope so. I might have to go scout out some kangaroo locations tomorrow. That might be my challenge. Like I said, if I make it through to the next round, it's going to be a big challenge. I'm looking forward to going up against the big fella. But I'm feeding a kangaroo in my jet skier if I win, and if I somehow win the whole thing, I'm getting rid of the beard. I won't look homeless anymore. I won't be the.
Did you get a Jets basketball jersey, by the way?
I bought it at a store called Factory. It was on sale for like $20, and I've had it for ages. Yeah, in Australia.
Interesting.
It's rare because there isn't really ever much Jets merch. I mean, you can find a few Jets hats. That's it, but I've never seen a Jets jersey or a Jets anything else. My dad actually has a Jets sweater as well that he found here, but all of my Jets jerseys are from online. Like I had to buy them online, but I got this and both of my hats here.
AJF, email me your address. I want to see if my merch store even has the capabilities to ship to Australia.
I'll make sure to do that. But yeah, so big fella on Monday.
Oh, I don't know what time it is for you, but here's your look ahead at the schedule, right? So we have the Sweet 16. We have Kyle Clifton and Peter Castro this afternoon. Saturday, that will be tomorrow. We have Leany and Papa Jet, and then you'll be Monday afternoon against the big fella. I don't know what time that is for you in Australia.
That'll be a Tuesday morning for me. I can't see with these glasses. I'm not meant to have glasses. I stole them from my mother. I have to David T to read that, but that'll be Tuesday morning for me. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not expecting to win, but I'm expecting to put up a good fight. I hope that, I can sway a few voters, and I hope that I've swayed a few voters with the run that I'm on. 11 seed, not many people have been making it past the first round, let alone the second. So let's try and make it past the third. I appreciate everyone for voting me to this point. And yeah, let's hope for the best. Jets, Jets.
Well done by AJF.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
The Australian fellow. Well done with the big fellow impersonation. That was great. All right, couple calls left. Then we're gonna wrap this one up. I saw we got a super chat from Common Country who says Lou B needs an Asmaniac shirt for when he's on TV. Free advertising. We'll deck him up with a hat, a shirt, all of it. Love that. Great idea. Lou B says if Beast don't fly, will he take a 20-hour train? Beast, will you take a 20-hour train to Pittsburgh?
Hey, if I could sit on the train, just give me the New York Post. I'll sit there and read, and then all I need is the bathroom so I can do the Bundy and go. Yeah, time to go do the Bundy, not the Renzel, the Bundy. I am like the next Al Bundy, especially they go, hello, Peg, everybody. Yeah, a fat woman yet yee-hawed her way into the shoe store today. Well, I told her to put a star on her ass and march herself to the door. Now, I don't remember the last time a woman could carry, nunchucks into the store and then nunchuck somebody right in the schnozzle. Oh, here we go again. He's talking about women. Well, I don't know. Let's go to another caller. I'll be right back with this advertising outfit. Water break.
All right, Beast, thank you for whatever that is. Lou, I don't have the answer to your question. Big fella wrote the Australian fella. I love it. Great job, AJF. Props to you. Well done. Well done by both parties involved here. John Reed wants to know, to be in that man's mind for a day. Imagine being Beast for a day. Unbelievable. All right, a couple calls left here. I do have some sad news, though. I just saw this. Former Jet QB, Browning Nagel, has passed away. Louisville football announced it. We are saddened by the passing of Browning Nagel, former Fiesta Bowl MVP quarterback and Louisville great. His leadership on the field and passion for the game left a lasting mark on our program. Our thoughts are with his loved ones and teammates during a difficult time. So that's sad. Obviously don't know what happened, but rest in peace to Browning Nagel. He played for the Jets from 1991 to 1993. He really only got an opportunity to play, though, in 92. He started 13 games that year. The Jets were 3-10 in his starts. 7 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Second-round pick by the Jets, 34th overall in the 91 draft. So, sorry to hear this. Spencer Green says, Beast, my BOA needs to eat. Will you offer Joey? Beast?
You know what? I got something you can go do. Eat a bag of dicks. Eat a bag of dicks. Eat a bag of dicks. The bag of dicks. Yeah. I'm Spencer Green, and I'm lame. Look at me, I'm chicken. I'm a yellow. I can't pay Jake his money. Eat a bag of dicks. Eat a bag of dicks.
Well done, Beast. All right, a couple calls, and then the show will be over. Adam is next.
Adam is cool, although kind of basic. He claims he's too cool, though often quite basic. He makes great jet points, looks a little basic. Adam is cool, too cool, but basic. Some would say generic.
Hey, Jake, how you holding up?
Hello, Adam.
All right. This is such a random question, but I keep thinking about the 16th pick and how we're so focused on the second pick, which is great, but the 16th pick would be cool too. So let's assume I'm going to assume we're going to get a wide receiver with the 16th. I think that's very much in play to get somebody. Whoever we pick with the second pick, whether it's Reese or whether it's Bailey, it's going to probably be one of those two. Do you think Reese or Bailey will have more sacks than touchdowns from whoever we pick with the 16th from, let's say it's Omar Cooper, or if it's Tyson or somebody that falls to us. If we get a wide receiver, who do you think we'd get? Who do you think will have more production in those metrics in year one?
Reese or the receiver?
Yeah, let's say it's Reese, right? Would Reese have more sacks than Omar Cooper touchdowns?
I don't know. That's a weird
thing
to think about. Who's the better player? I don't know. I think Reese would be more impactful as a second pick than Omar Cooper would.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm excited about. I'm fine to get this finally over with. The ambiguity is crazy now. Now we really are like going insane in the asylum of trying to.
It's gotten waves. Like we spent so much time at the beginning at pick 2 because of the quarterback. Right, Dante Moore goes back to school. Then it kind of shifted to the Ty Simpson conversation around 16. Then it's kind of shifted back now towards 2. Like we spent so much time on 2 at the beginning. Then it was all about 16, and now it feels like we're back to the number 2 debate.
Yeah. And that goes to show like just how quiet it is in Jets land. And I really want to commend you and thank you for keeping the content fresh and bringing in the personalities and the voices and the experts to keep the conversation going. Because I think we're all really like dry-eyed over it by now.
Yeah, I'm with you, Adam. Hopefully they get it right. That's all that matters.
Damn right. And great game yesterday, by the way. That was fun. Can we get 7-game series like that? That'd be pretty cool.
I'd have a heart attack if every game was like that for 7. But yes, I would like if the Knicks play like how they played yesterday, I think they match up well in the second round potentially against Boston.
Great win. It was a great win for them. Good playing, and when both teams are at full strength, I think it's going to be fireworks. It's just going to be a really good series. I think the league wants that series to happen.
Oh, 100%. Yep, no doubt. It was a good win by the Knicks yesterday. Jaylen Brown didn't play for Boston, but still, Knicks their last 2 wins against Atlanta and Boston, like it's when you want to start resembling the team you're supposed to be all year in the playoffs coming up. Hawk in the raffle for 2. Great show as always, Jake. Beast in rare form today. # Friday vibes raffle me. Well, thank you, Hawk. I got you down for the Pennington helmet this afternoon for 2. All right, 2 more calls. Although, Jake Quest, I just saw you wanted to comment about Brown and Nagel. So if you want to call in, the link is for you only. I just put it in the live chat. TriStar Jet, and then Peg and Artie will close this out before potentially a Jake Quest call. TriStar, what do you got for us today?
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you.
Okay. All I can hear is Lowski in the background. I don't know why.
Can you hear me?
Let me come back to you, TriStar, because I can tell you were struggling with the delay there as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is...
You want to go do some role playing?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, dickwad!
It's time to party. We're gonna party. Jets fans will party with Peg and Artie.
Hey, Peg. Nobody gives a shit.
Then you all stink.
Listen, bitch. Pay your fucking taxes, man.
This really wasn't what I expected.
Eat a bag of dicks.
It's time to party with Peg and Artie. We're gonna party with Peg and Artie.
Hey, Jake. Asmaniacs. How's everybody? Hey, I don't know how long I'm going to stay on. I'm on like parking lot Wi-Fi here. So I'm not home, obviously, at work. But I just wanted to say, man, that last Beast call was spectacular. What would have been if he would have just made calls like that at the beginning of the Asmaniac Madness contest? I mean, dear Lord, that was classic.
He hit everything you could possibly want in a Beast call.
I mean, my God, that was like the greatest call ever. And I'm starting to think we're not going to draft a quarterback at all, Jake. I'm starting to think they're going to bring in some veteran. And I think we're going to roll with what we got, not take any of these guys, and shoot for next year like what the plan was. I'm starting to really think that.
Well, I'd be surprised if they didn't draft anyone. Like, I don't think they're going to necessarily take someone early, right? If it's not Ty at 16 or 33, I don't believe that they're going to take a quarterback until day 3. But I'd be surprised if they went 2 straight drafts without taking a quarterback at some point.
I mean, if you think about it, if the guys at the back end of this draft are not going to be able to help us this year, next year, or even going forward, I mean, what's the point of even doing it? You know, I don't know. I just know one thing. I know I can't wait for this draft to get here because we've been waiting for this thing since freaking September and October. It's like driving everybody nuts.
Yeah, I mean, look, I feel like you just want to add someone to the pipeline, right? Like you bring Carson Beck, he could be your long-term backup potentially if you use a day 3 pick on him. You know, like you like who you bring, you're gonna roll with. Like I'd rather get someone in there. Like right now, Brady Cook's the number 3 quarterback. You can add a 3rd quarterback.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, brother. Thank you very much for taking my call. I enjoyed the show on my lunch break. When I sit down for lunch, I open up my sandwich. The first thing I see is Beast on the screen almost every day. So thank you.
Artie, you're the man.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
Yeah. Jay Quest said he'll call in on the afternoon show. So, all right. So the last caller is TriStar. If his internet works this time. Hello, TriStar.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Good job.
You're supposed to hit me with the Jeffrey Epstein, Jake. Come on now. So real quick, and I just joined the show. I've been working. Sorry. Have you guys hit on the Kenny Moore news at all?
I have not talked about it. No.
Okay. I actually went to high school with Kenny. He's a good dude, man. I know he's not getting up there in age. I guess he's a year older than me, so he's probably 30. He's a good dude, man. If we could pick him up for cheap, I think he'd be a good he's like one of those locker room guys. Who actually dated the same girl in high school, believe it or not. But he's a hell of a guy. I didn't know if you hit on that at all, but if you guys ever pull the tape up on him, he's pretty good, man. He's pretty quick. But I know our corner room, I know we're still trying to add to that. So I was thinking if we don't pick one up early in the draft or even in the mid rounds, how much you thought it would be to pick someone like him up.
He's in the last year of his deal. I'm trying to see what, like I guess they're trading him because of a scheme fit. 2025, he was in 14 games, 7 starts, 6 pass defense, an interception, 2 forced fumbles, but a total of 132 games with 111 starts in 2017. I mean, he's been a good player for a while, very good nickel corner. Yeah. I almost feel like he's not a fit necessarily for the Jets because they have Brownlee, they signed Nashawn Wright, they've invested a ton in that room. They could use another corner though. I think Cimini thinks they're going to draft a corner, so I guess he could be in play, but I'd imagine they'd want someone younger and wouldn't want to add his salary. And like, I guess is he being traded because he wants a new deal and they're not going to give it to him, so they're just trying to get something instead of cutting him? Like, I would need to know more to really get an accurate idea on what's going on there.
Yeah, I agree. I bet he's probably asking too much for what he's worth. I mean, how many years has he been in the league now? Probably 7. I think his 2nd or 3rd year, he really came out. I think he had like 8 interceptions or something.
He was a UDFA.
Was he?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay. Well, I didn't know if you hit on him at all.
Yeah, no, I really went to high school with him though. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Was he just amazing in high school?
He wasn't, to be honest with you.
Really?
No, he wasn't amazing, but he didn't stand out like you thought he would. So
that's really surprising. You'd think he'd be like the most unbelievable player if he made it in the NFL and has had a 10-year career.
That's a whole nother story, man. I can get into that later. There was a guy we went to school with. Oh my God, it's crazy. He would have went pro, but of course legal issues stopped him from. He was supposed to go to FSU, would have been an all-pro linebacker, I'm sure, and legal issues got to him. But our school, the South Georgia, it was a pretty good school. Lowndes, if you ever look into it, multiple state championships. But yeah, Kenny, he was a good guy, real good guy. So if we ever pick him up, he'd be a locker room guy for sure. So
love it. Well, good insight there. Appreciate you, TriStar.
See you, buddy.
TriStar Jet checking in. Nick Shine says, raffle me up, please.
Good job.
Nick Shine in the raffle for 2. All right. What a show. What a time to be alive. Before we get out of here, let me tell you about ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter sponsoring today's show. Their job is to help others get jobs. They are a front office that actually works. You could try it all for free, what I'm about to tell you, if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter is basically your GM. Their smart matching technology. It finds qualified candidates that fit what you're looking for fast. You could even add screening questions, so you're not wasting time interviewing someone who would have been cut before training camp. No reaches, no busts, just the right picks for your team. Again, ZipRecruiter is going to find the right talent for your opening. Allow them to do it for you. ZipRecruiter.com/audio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. This afternoon, we have ourselves a showdown between Kyle Clifton and Peter Castro. Many are anticipating this back and forth throwdown. Many, and I mean many, can't wait to watch these two Titans go head to head. It will be live at 4 p.m. Eastern today. So we will see you then. Before we get out of here, though, I just received this message from the Peter Castro campaign. I will play it on the way out. Sit back and enjoy it. And as always, let's go Jets.
J-O-B, job, job, job.
And that includes our feature presentation. We will all see you back here at 4 Eastern, live on the Jake Asman Show, right here on the internet. We'll see you then. Yeah, I'm a tough son of a bitch. I've been through it all. I mean, I've been hit by a bus, still got back up.
You've been hit by a bus. Let's start. What type of bus? Short bus?
Public transit. The guy was an asshole, so yeah, I already took care of it. Don't worry about it.
So what happened after he hit you?
It got physical, so I don't want to talk about it.
You beat up the bus driver?
But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about that.
Wait, hold on. And then the second thing is you said you survived an ear infection?
3 times.
Wow.
2005, 2015, 2016, survived.
Hold on. This is a huge accomplishment. You're a 3-time ear infection survivor?
No, that don't count.
What do you mean they don't count?
That's the past. This is the future. The future is...
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go Jets.